On the program here this morning, we are talking Wiseman Ministries, and we've done this, of course, before, but always talking to different folks, and appreciate Wiseman sending over different folks to talk to each time about different aspects of what they're doing. Danny Prewitt is in the studio with us here this morning. He is on the program for a first time ever?
Yes, that's correct. Good morning, everyone.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. Mike Linthicum is here as well.
Yes, sir.
A first time for you as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. So we've got guys in here that have not been in here to talk about Wiseman Ministries and their part before, so let's do that now. Danny,
Yes,
tell
sir.
everybody what you do.
Well, I'm at Wiseman Life Recovery Ministries here in Henderson, Texas, and I do the casework for the facility. I enjoy helping the guys there because they come in with all kinds of needs. They need doctor's appointments. They need to be scheduled. Sometimes they just need spiritual guidance or somebody to confide in or talk to. But primarily, I just try to help everyone that I can in every way that they need fit.
Okay. Now, for those who may or may not be aware, tell everybody exactly what that facility is.
Wiseman Life Recovery is a ministry that is geared and specifically leans towards helping people that struggle with addiction, homelessness, and any other type of life struggles they may be dealing with.
And that, for most folks tuning in, they're going to know this as a different location, or so they're going to know it as something else. What do people know it as?
Well, it used to be an old Days Inn hotel, I believe, and it's been converted into a residential ministry for, I think, 40-plus guys that really need help, and they need to realign themselves with God, and it's a faith-based organization, 501(c) nonprofit, and every day we do something to help the people get closer to God.
How many can you accommodate at maximum?
Yeah, up to 80.
Okay, all right. But the 40, give or take, that you deal with, that you see, not necessarily anybody who would be at any of the other locations, or does everybody come through your location at some point in time?
Not everyone goes through that location at some point in time, but we are a later phase facility there where people can advance and come there and have some further opportunities, as in being able to have a greater financial opportunity to start. It's more of the end phase where a lot of guys come when they're trying to get reentry back into the world, and they're trying to become more acclimated into the living independently process.
Yeah, and after they leave you, then where do they go?
Well, hopefully they stay on track with their spiritual alignment with God, and that they go wherever He leads them to go. You know, I mean, at that point, they're their own individual, and that hopefully we've done what we could do to help them so that they can stay and remain independent and sober.
Okay, very good. Danny, we will get back to you and talk to some more here in just a second.
Thank you.
Mike, you're doing something totally different.
Yes, sir. I'm actually in Longview at the House of Disciples. My role in the ministry is I'm the lead cashier for the Gifts of Grace resale store. And what we do there is all the proceeds that come through that store are totally towards the Wiseman Ministries, the Life Recovery Center, the House of Disciples, the Lighthouse, the farm out there, Isaiah 58. You know, that's all the proceeds from that store go to support all of the portions of the ministry.
Yeah. And we'll tell everybody where the store is.
The store is at 2607 West Loop 281 is the address there.
Okay.
It's the old kids station.
Okay.
Yeah, it does great things for people.
Okay. And again, they're getting, Wiseman is putting one in Henderson, right?
They're in the works right now.
But yours has been up and rolling how long?
For, I believe, 3 years at that location. It used to be off Justice Road. I think it was there for a couple of years.
Sure.
But it's been up and going for a few years now.
How many folks do you have working with you over there?
So it varies sometimes due to people having appointments, you know, but generally we have between 12 and 16 people that work there. There's we have 3 cashiers at all times. And we have several folks that work in the back, receive donations, and ensure that all the products that we put on the floor are to a standard.
Sure.
That way that
would and set me straight here if I'm wrong. Or perhaps you or any of the folks that work with you at the thrift store, have they gone through Danny's facility before? I mean, does that
like you said,
does that happen, or is everybody kind of doing their own portion of Wiseman Ministries?
Well, there's been instances where some of the people that were at the Life Recovery Center here in Henderson have made it back to Longview to the House of Disciples. Yeah. It's not really too common because, like Danny was saying, their portion of the ministry is kind of more or less, further into their program. Yeah. These are people that are trying to integrate back into society by, getting a job and getting a good footing underneath them. Mm-hmm. The House of Disciples over in Longview is kind of the first step. When you enter the program, that's usually where you end up at first.
Yeah.
When folks come to you, then do they work for you for just a limited time, or can it be open-ended and be there for quite some time?
Yeah, no, it's both ways, really. A lot of the people that come to the House of Disciples, they generally stay there for at least 10 months. Like myself, that's where I started at, and that's where I've stayed. I joined the program December 7th of 2023, and I graduated, of course, last year on December 7th. And I transitioned over to my internship and moved up to being a cashier at the store. And once I graduated, I went ahead and just stayed on with the ministry, hired on as a staff member, and which is part of what they offer as well. Like people that come through the ministry, once they graduate, they have the opportunity to become a staff member with Wiseman.
Yeah.
And,
But did you ever do the blackberry farm?
I have never been to the farm.
No, well,
no,
Danny,
Yes, sir. That's where I originally started. Was at the farm.
You were at the farm
in DeBerry, Texas. Yes, sir. I was the caseworker over there in 2023, and transitioned over to the Wiseman Life Recovery here in Henderson.
Okay. So, if you find yourself just coming in to Wiseman Ministries, be it the Blackberry Farm, be it your facility, be it the thrift store, you don't necessarily go to each facility for a certain time, do you? I mean,
no, sir.
Each person's path through Wiseman Ministries is different. Is that safe?
Yeah, I would say it's the same path. I mean, it's just like everybody's spiritual walk. There's an end result that we're shooting for and trying to obtain, which is sobriety, spiritual growth, and financial and just personal independence. And I think that everybody's walk and everybody's needs are a little different. And I think that God is within the facility wholeheartedly. And I think that He helps everyone navigate themselves through the facilities as best as they possibly can and in the right place at the right time.
And being at the farm back in the day for you helped you get to where you are now and as a caseworker now?
Yes, it was a blessing. A plethora of doors open for me. It was an amazing opportunity, and I can't thank Wiseman enough. And they've always welcomed me with open arms.
But being a caseworker and at the facility that you have, that facility wasn't available back then, was it?
Yes, sir. The Wiseman Life Recovery was available back then. I was I was in the program. I'm still in the program.
Sure.
But I was at a different stage. And the need for me to be at Wiseman Life Recovery here in Henderson wasn't a need then like it is now.
So folks who come to your facility, how long do they stay?
Well, like we were talking about earlier, when the integration process, they're trying to learn how to become independent. So there is a slight revolving door where people will come in from an earlier phase in the program and then they'll leave because they find a job, they find stability, and they get a good footing underneath them and they get a residence. And then there's other guys who stay on his staff and live there, and then there's a sober living environment there as well. And so some of the guys stayed there and they can pay rent and live as independently as possible with still needing the spiritual growth aspect.
I know we talked in past programs that Wiseman as a whole is not a shelter facility, but in light of like last week's ridiculous temperatures. If you needed to, you could be, right?
Yes, we actually have recently helped some people that really needed some shelter and warmth and a shower during this cold time. But we are strictly a men's facility, and the Wiseman Life Recovery in Henderson is.
Yes.
And we do have female facilities as well in Overton, I believe, or New London, and
Yes.
in Carthage. And so, but we have helped some people. Now, it's not something that consistently can be done just because of the program and because of the structure that we have put in place to continuously take care of the men there.
Yeah. The guys who come to you, since they don't necessarily have to go through the farm or through some of the other facilities to get to you, say somebody comes to you first.
Yes.
How do they find you? How do you get in touch with them? How does that work?
Well, sometimes people call us and say, hey, look, my cousin or my brother or my son needs help. And so we do what we can to reach out and assist them in getting some help that they need. But a lot of the times people are it's word of mouth is an amazing thing. And when people respect the ministry and understand what it's really about, I think God uses that to direct their heart on, somebody will know when their family member is struggling and needs help. And
Sure.
a lot of the cases is because somebody in their family has heard about us, understood what we're about, and they just try to direct their loved one to us.
Okay. Mike, for you, how do you get the folks who come to the thrift store? How do you decide who comes and who needs help in that particular way?
Well, it happens from time to time where somebody will show up and they'll kind of just ask, hey, what's this program about? Yeah. And we'll explain to them, it is a life recovery program. It's a work program, but we don't, discriminate against anybody.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So if anybody shows up that I feel needs help or asks for it, I always give them the phone number. Mm-hmm. I always give them the information that they need in order to get in contact with the people that are responsible for bringing folks in. Or I'll just tell them where the House of Disciples is. I'll tell them just show up.
Yeah.
Go in that front door, talk to the guys at the front desk, they'll get you lined out.
Is the program, is it the same, one and all, the same for everybody, or is it totally different for each individual? When somebody talks about the Wiseman program,
Right. Well,
is it a program or is it a bunch of different programs?
It's all a program. It's all the same.
Okay.
Wiseman Ministries is a blanket for all three programs.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Very good. Mike, again, the thrift store in Longview, what's its hours of operation?
It's Monday through Saturday. We're closed on Sundays, but we're open from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Okay. And if folks wanted to donate to it, what's the best way to do that?
If they wanted to donate, there's two ways they can do it. They can show up to the store on the north side of the building. There's a roll-up door. All they got to do is pull up to that door. The guys in the back will come out and take care of the rest. Or they can call the store if they're in the city, within the city of Longview, and schedule a time for our driver to come and pick up whatever it is they're wanting to donate.
Oh, you have pickup delivery.
We do have a pickup service.
Listen to you. All right. And what kind of donations you need?
We take everything except for mattresses and car seats.
Okay.
Everything else,
Clothing, appliances, furniture,
all of it.
You'll do all that.
Yes,
huh?
sir.
Okay. All right. Very good. And so that's happening there in Longview. And again, in the future, we'll have a location like that in Henderson, very
Absolutely.
similar to it. But you've got what you've got, and you've got that going on. And again, the folks who donate, that's great, fine, and wonderful. The folks who come there to shop, anybody and everybody?
Everybody.
Okay. And it's open Monday through Saturday.
Yes, sir.
You got it. Very good. Danny, anything else all about your location that you want to stress or get across, or maybe talk about that you don't think maybe folks understand about what you're doing over there?
Well, I mean, about my position, not as much, but I do feel a tug on my heart to just let anybody listening to know that if they know someone or them themselves need help or are struggling with anything in life, addiction, homelessness, or just spiritual guidance, that they can reach out. And nobody's too far gone, and they can always reach out for help.
As a caseworker, you deal with a lot of different situations. But like you say, you've been there
Yes, sir.
before. It's enough to make you want to go back some days, doesn't it? It's a daily struggle, isn't it?
Everything's a daily struggle, but yes, sir, it is. But I really think that's what helps me keep my pride in check, and it helps me to understand that I can't do anything alone. Nobody can do anything alone. We always need Jesus in our lives, and so He helps me through every single day, and it just keeps me humble, and it helps me to pass that along.
Okay, very good. Mike, a daily struggle for you, or is everything cool over at the thrift store?
Well, like you said, there's always a struggle, but as long as you keep God first, you have nothing to worry about. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's just keeping your spiritual walk aligned with God daily, and the rest of it just falls into place.
Yeah, that's the foundation.
There you go. Danny, if there's anything we found out this morning on the program, you need to take Mike over to the Blackberry Farm and give him a tour.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
He needs to go see it then, doesn't he?
Yes, sir.
I think maybe put him to work out there. Be culture shock for him, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
I'm not above anything. I'll do anything.
Very good. Anything else at all about Wiseman or about y'all's involvement in it that you wanted to talk about this morning that we haven't touched on?
Just for me personally, it's been a life changer. I would never regret going to Wiseman.
Yeah. Okay.
The same here, and like you said, anybody out there listening, if you know anybody that's struggling with addiction, or if you're struggling with getting back into, reintegrating with society, and feel like the Wiseman Ministries would be a place that could help them, don't hesitate to call.
Because website, there's a website, right? I believe, and that main location to go to find out all the information.
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, and get contacts and all that kind of stuff. Very good. Danny Prewitt, thank you. Mike Linthicum, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mark.
Appreciate y'all coming in and joining us here this morning.
Thanks for having us.
Talking about Wiseman Ministries here in East Texas. We continue on here this morning on a Good Morning Texas program. This is KWRD 1470 98.5.